and Arne Slot speaks better English than Ten Hag and doesn't grunt after every sentence.
Dude, maybe Ten Hag has like a learning disability, you know?
Clearly, it translates to the pitch clearly. Holy
So basically, we got a classic tier list here in front of us. We got an S, an A, a B, a C, a D, and an F.
Big F.
Will anyone go an F?
Oh.
Let's get one thing out the way first. To coach in the Premier League, you have to be a good manager.
You do.
You don't just get given a terrible...
It's F in relative to the competition.
Yeah. Let's
in relation to the competition, I should say. Not relative.
Let's say who's like Gary Neville is not going to get gifted the Wolves job, you know? You have to have like a resume, some kind of resume.
It's the best league in the world, the most competitive league in the world.
Exactly. You're not going to, fall into a job in the Premier League. You have to be good at what you do.
So all these managers have a certain standard of managing, and I'm sure if they went to another league where the competition is less fierce, they would be able to do a very decent job, even the managers that we're going to put in F.
Absolutely.
So this ranking is in relation to their competition and the job that they've done so far.
Well put. This is based off the standard of the Premier League.
And also the way you team manage, dressing room, everything. So yeah, let's get into it.
Our first manager, Antoine, is Mikel Arteta. We're starting off hot.
So, Mikel Arteta, rough start.
S would be like, best in the world. Should we put him in S?
Yeah, let's just put Pep Guardiola in S tier.
Let's put him in S tier, okay?
That's the standard.
For a good couple of years, everybody was saying like, oh, he's Klopp is better. He just spends a bunch of money. But I think Pep has been here long enough.
Pep has been here long enough. He's done it with multiple teams. Doesn't matter the stature of the team.
Absolutely, dude.
If you win trophies, you're considered a good manager.
Eventually, you just have to concede, like, he's pretty good in it.
It's not even, dude, just appreciate it.
The way he's just reinvented his system.
Dude, everybody plays like him. Everyone plays like him. Everybody inspires their game from him.
Yeah, the Centurion season, it was a completely different tactical style than he has right now.
The inverted fullbacks. You have
inverted fullbacks, now putting like center backs as fullbacks, like everything, dude.
Literally, Spain 2024 Euros. Luis de la Fuente playing his fullbacks, playing Cucurella instead of Grimaldo because he fits the profile better.
Yep.
Luis Enrique plays PSG as pretty much the same way that Pep plays his fullbacks. It's a style of football that he's inspired, and dude, even like clubs down the street get inspired from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. You fucking U8 teams passing it around like they're 09 Barca. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. So just the impact that he's had on football just as
revolutionized
the wider net, like revolutionized the game, and not just once. Like he's been like the standard. He's been the trendsetter. He's been like a maestro at this stuff. Like staunches us all the freaking time. Pep Guardiola is undoubtedly S tier. My only question with him is, when is he going to leave?
Yeah.
When is he going to...
And what is he going to do once he leaves?
When is he going to say, like, City, enough is enough. Like, I'm going to take a break from football for a little bit, and then I'm going to challenge myself again. It's the original reason he went to City in the first place.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to it. Should we do Mikel Arteta now?
Let's do Mikel Arteta.
If Pep Guardiola is the standard, and let's be honest, probably the only one in S tier, I think Mikel Arteta is a pretty healthy A.
Yeah, best in class, like you said.
Best in class. S tier is like the best. A tier, best in class. Like, you're doing very well with that manager.
Yeah. No, I really like how he's transformed this Arsenal team that was outright rotten.
Yeah. And it took a little bit there. Took a bit of patience.
It did.
But he got there eventually.
And he got rid of all the deadwood. I can't see one player that's useless in this Arsenal squad. He has a good mix of youngsters and experienced players in his squad. He's playing beautiful football. Inspired himself of Pep Guardiola once more, but has that little. He has a little touch of uniqueness in his game. It's different from Pep Guardiola, where his team doesn't pass the ball around as much, but they're so dominant and they pressure the opponent's backline so much that it gets way too much for the defense to even do anything. I love the way his wingers play. Constant pressure, either down the byline or cutting in. So we know how good Saka is on his outside the box.
Absolutely.
Finesse shots, whatever you want. I love it.
I love it too, man. No, I think Mikel Arteta is a pretty solid A. And I think unless our Arsenal boys would argue that he's an S, this is like pretty
Blake,
non-controversial.
If Blake was next to me right now, he'd definitely.
They wouldn't argue him against Pep,
but
know?
He'd still say he's S. I think so. I think he'd put up an argument like he has the potential to be there.
You would say that.
He would say that.
Okay.
He also seems like a very good like man manager, like man to man. Like
no.
He seems to have a very good relationship with his players, which is good.
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery. See, I have a sweet spot for Unai Emery.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of my favorite PSG coaches. Dare I say of all time. I'd put him at an A for what he's done throughout his career, for what he's done to Villa. Specifically, remember he took over Steven Gerrard's 17th place Villa team, brought them to a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Now competing in the Champions League.
I agree. I actually fully agree. And I'm thinking of the stuff that he did even before
Villarreal
coming to the Premier League.
Europa
Absolutely.
League winner.
PSG.
I was loving the way he was playing.
Really?
This is like one of my favorite PSG teams of all time.
He'll always be remembered for the remontada.
He will be always remembered for remontada.
It goes Sergio Roberto. He's off celebrating. It cuts to him.
Well, that's fair enough, but
that wasn't his fault. I don't think that was some dodgy refereeing and players falling apart.
Dodgy refereeing for sure. So let's not blame it on that. He's like my manager's pet, if that makes sense, or teacher's pet. You know, like
You're
the teachers.
Unai apologist.
There you go. He's my soft spot. I love him, and it's not even just what he's done for Villa. It's the business also.
Yep.
I mean, you got rid of Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz left your club this summer,
and now Onana looks better. Yeah.
And he doesn't look better, but he
doesn't look better, but
he doesn't look better, but he
looks great though.
He looks good. He looks good, and he's reinforced positions outside of the defensive midfielder role that could cover for the loss of Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, strong A. I completely agree.
Ahead of Arteta.
Yeah.
Give it to me. He's one more.
Yeah.
He's one more.
Okay. Next up is Andoni Iraola.
I like this guy.
I like him too. No, Bournemouth has been doing pretty well the last couple of seasons. Mm-hmm. Was it the end of last season?
Yeah, it was
where they
end of
lost.
Season 2022. They sacked Gary O'Neill for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
No one understood why. But then Iraola came in. A lot of people tipped them to finish bottom, go down, and go back in the championship.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
They so-called belong. But Iraola completely, I don't want to say transformed because he kind of went on the same path that Gary O'Neill was in. Dude, Dominic Solanke under Iraola was the third best goal scorer in the Premier League.
Spectacular. And now they're spending a bit more money, signing players on permanence, and it's like now we can really see what he does.
You can see there's a project there.
Absolutely.
They're signing the youngsters. They're signing... Who'd they sign?
I remember they signed Sinisterra on a permanent, but he was there on loan last year. They signed...
they signed a right back Araujo from Barcelona.
What's that striker's name?
He wasn't getting play time
over
there.
The Porto striker that they signed?
Evan Leeson.
Yes, Evan Nilsson. They signed... oh my God, they signed Huijsen from the Italian league.
Who
Dean
PSG
Huijsen,
was looking at.
who is really highly rated.
Very highly rated.
Really highly rated.
PSG were looking at them.
I think last year was Barney's first year too, so that center back pairing,
that's a
I'm
good
really
center back partnership.
Amazing,
Zabarney,
oh yeah,
and Huijsen, and they still have Senesi on top of that.
Still have Senesi on the left as well. Yeah.
Maybe the fullback region is where it's kind of.
But again, if you're playing if you're playing that style, then it can work. It could work, and they've made it work.
Milos Kerkez, yeah.
Oh yeah,
dude, we were high on him during the Euros, eh?
I still am.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's fair enough.
Blake still has him in his fantasy.
Justin
team.
Kluivert, Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah. Oh my God, how did I forget about Semenyo?
Prove that he's
having an
can
insane
fill
year.
those boots this season. By the way, if anyone's listening and plays FPL, I think Antoine Semenyo is a great asset.
Me too.
Great asset, and he might come in soon.
Dude, I drafted up a wild card team, and I was like,
ooh, wild carding already.
Like that looks good.
Does it?
But it's just too early.
Yeah,
you know?
can't. Just it's the unpredictability of what's gonna happen next.
Yeah,
like
but then I'm thinking about it for
injured,
game week 6, but I'm like, this team will be too expensive by then.
Yeah.
Anywho, where are we putting Iraola?
A good B. I think he's a good B.
A good B.
He's had a good enough season
more of a
where
light B, but yeah.
Huh?
I can't put him on the I can't say that he's nearing the level of Arteta.
No, he's not. He's not. But he's had a good enough season where putting him in C would be a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah.
What was it? Mid-table last season, pretty much. 13th, 14th, around
You're
there.
right. Okay, let's go with next up alphabetically is Thomas Frank.
I love this guy. You don't like him?
No, I like his style. I like the way that him and Brentford are kind of on the same wavelength, if that makes sense. Ever since they came into the Premier League, that's kind of been like a match made in heaven, the way they look at the game. And he's done incredible things with Brentford. Like, let's not, the reason I'm a little bit like small on him is like he's like very, very defensive. Like his style is a little bit like conservative. Like I don't love seeing it. I can't deny his results, of course. It's a little bit like classic Premier League at times. I kind of looked into his style more at the end of last season when he was kind of being stupidly linked to the United job. And then like I kind of thought about it. I was like, Thomas Frank, like I don't love it.
Yeah.
But I have to give credit where credit is due. I would also put him B because he's done a fantastic job with Brentford.
Yeah.
And he quite clearly deserves to be there.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a different look without Ivan Toney last season when he was banned for his betting scandal.
Yeah.
But he proved that he can keep a team without Ivan Toney up.
Yeah.
This season doesn't even need him. Went to Saudi Arabia. Johan Wissa is going to have to fill in his boots, but
Which he's been doing.
doesn't look like it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian Burmo, excellent. Now it's
Norgard, I like that little
Norgard.
Danish
Right?
link up in that
Right?
team. I like it.
I'll put him B.
Yeah, B under Iraola or over?
Under.
Under.
Let's say.
I agree.
Next up is Fabian Herzog, Brighton. What do we think?
Look, I really like how he's starting the season. I like what he's showing. I feel like it'd be unfair for me to rank him because I haven't seen enough of him, and I don't want to rank him based off of the 3 games that Brighton have played so far this season.
Yeah.
I mean, you're beating Man United, you're drawing to Arsenal, fair enough, and you're playing good football. But in terms of longevity, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't watching who did he manage last season?
I believe it was Sao
Stuttgart.
Paulo. Let me make sure it was Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I wasn't watching São Paulo last season, respectfully, with all due respect.
All due respect, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, he's still 31 years old. Like in a couple of years,
insane.
I know, mental. So in a couple of years, we could be saying like, oh, absolutely, like he's one of the best. For now, like, come on, like what can we say? He's had an excellent start at Brighton.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see more of it.
We're going to have to see.
At least for a season,
We're going to have to see more of it.
of course. And for now, I think he's C.
That's why we're going to have to see.
Mid. Yeah, he hasn't done bad. Like you can't knock him for anything, but yeah.
Now, D would be
A bit
harsh.
of a managerial wonder kid, you could say.
And I like the signings he's made.
Yeah.
Granted, it's Brighton and they always make good signings, whoever the manager is.
Yeah.
But this Baleba guy, bro. This Carlos Baleba guy. Remember the name.
Who?
He was in Lille last season.
Who the fuck?
Midfielder.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said the same thing about Adingra, brother.
Not really.
And now you know the name. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Preseason of the Premier League 2022-2020 or 2023-2024 last season.
Yeah.
Preseason. It was a summer games where they played their football in the United States. You remember when they had the body cams? You remember that.
Okay, sure, mate. And we weren't really like even talking.
I told
then.
you.
We
I
weren't on
said
pod.
Simon Adingra, remember the name, has a great first half of the campaign, then is one of the best players in AFCON, and now you remember the name.
Enzo Maresca is next.
Ooh.
Will you be remembering this name?
Will we be remembering this name in 2 years?
Here's the thing with Maresca, right? Obviously, when he came to Chelsea, I did my research, did my due diligence on him.
Fair enough.
And-
As you should.
Got the points record with Leicester, or did he get the points record? Came first in the championship with Leicester, won them promotion back to the Premier League.
Which, with all due respect, I think I could do the same.
That's where we have to go next. Asterisk. Who wouldn't win with that team?
Yeah.
And then I looked into like the style of play and what the fans thought of him and everything. Apparently a very stubborn manager.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a bit of a bad way.
Okay.
They once won a game 5-0 and he was still like visibly upset after
Okay.
the game because the players didn't play exactly
So
like
like
he
the
wanted.
Bielsa type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leicester actually got worse throughout last season's championship.
I remember that.
Ipswich ended up closing the gap on them. And the fans never really got around to liking him. Obviously, came through a kind of Pep system, was his assistant coach at City. But I think, I don't want to say like he shouldn't he doesn't deserve to be the Chelsea manager, but I think he might be there for some off the pitch reasons, some cooperation that he's giving to the board, you could say. Again, very potential based and everything, but I see more bad and good in Maresca. He's had some good performances with Chelsea, but I have to see more.
Yeah, it's tough because, dude, managing that Chelsea squad is a hell of a job. If he succeeds, then he has my full respect.
Yeah.
Right now,
absolutely. He could be a spectacular manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've seen more bad than good at this point.
Okay. And I haven't really watched Leicester's games last season, so I can't really speak on that. The only games that I can really speak on are the 4 or 5 games that they played so far.
Yeah.
One of them in which they scored 6 goals.
That's true.
But up to you.
I'm going D.
You're going D?
I'm going D.
Okay. High D, low C.
High D, low C. I'm going to say a strong D. Strong D. Somebody's got to go there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next up is Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace manager who, spoiler, I'm pretty high.
Yeah, I really like this guy. I really, really like this guy.
Yeah.
I think Crystal Palace have been a little bit done dirty in terms of how they've been playing so far this season and the results that they've been getting. Their first game was against Brentford where they lost 2-1, but I want to say controlled the whole game, if not the entire second half.
Yeah.
Had the better of the opportunities, had more shots all around. And then they lose 2-0 to West Ham, where, again, I thought that they played better then. And then they played Chelsea, where they drew 1-1 at Stamford Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I like the football that he's putting forward. Last season also, he ended the season on a very high.
Oh, yeah.
Very high. I think in the last 5 games of the season, or
they're one of the best teams in the league.
I think they were second after City.
Yeah.
So I really like this guy.
Yeah, and then he did a good job with Frankfurt before coming to Palace, with Wolfsburg before then, and then some work in the lower leagues. Let's just say that he's earned his spot here.
Like, it's that Red Bull school, man. They always they always come through.
Yes. I'm going to put Oliver Glasner top of B.
Top of B?
Top of B.
Top of B, low.
Ahead of Iriola and ahead of Thomas Frank.
Little top B, low A?
Yeah.
I like that.
Low A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top of B.
Top of B.
Next up is Sean Dyche.
Ooh! See, where to start with Sean Dyche?
It's
a very strict style of play, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a very limited style of play.
Yeah. It's Barclays. It's prime Barclays. We've had some excellent moments under Sean Dyche.
We have.
He's also had some pretty low lows.
Very low lows.
Very low lows.
Very low lows.
But I think he's like a classic like Allardyce staple of the Premier League, and I have to give him some points for that. I'm gonna give him.
Okay, let's not be ridiculous here. I think the players in his team are more capable of bailing him out than the tactics themselves. If that makes sense.
Do you want to go high D, low C?
I'm going, dude, low D.
Low D.
Low D, I'd say. I
Fair.
mean, Calvert-Lewin.
He's kind of ass.
Yeah, dude. Like how many years in a row we've been saying that he can be the next great striker in the Premier League, and he just hasn't been delivering. Whether it's because of injuries or poor performances, it's just not been happening.
That's valid.
Yeah,
that's valid. Okay, I love Sean Dyche though,
and it's also the signings. Like, dude, barely any movement this transfer window.
I don't know how much.
Although I do like Iliman and Ndiaye to Everton.
Iliman and Ndiaye.
I love it.
Marco Silva is next. Marco Silva is another staple of the Premier League. Portuguese brethren of mine.
Yeah. And who would have thought he'd be a staple of the Premier League?
And also a few ups and downs for Marco Silva. Yeah. Where would you rank him, do you think?
Well, I'm seeing it's always difficult to keep a promoted team up for multiple seasons in a row.
Yeah.
And now he has a team that doesn't look like they will go down just based off the starting 11 and the squad as a whole. I mean, you have a proven keeper in Bernd Leno, proven Premier League keeper. I know Blake's a big fan of him. Mm-hmm. A solid midfield. You lost Paulinho this summer.
Yeah.
We've done your best to replace him.
Who did they replace him with again?
Lukic.
Oh, right.
His wing backs are solid, Tete and Robinson. these good Premier League players that just represent mid-table. You know what I mean? It's a team that represents mid-table perfectly. And Marco Silva has the tactics maybe to push a little bit higher than that, but he's a cool manager.
He's cool.
He's cool.
He's cool. I think he's a classic like C.
He's a big B.
A B?
Oh, a B? A C? You're saying
B.
C?
If we go B, we're putting over Hurtsla.
Yeah.
Like the tactics, like
no, I think I put him over Hurtsla.
Put him over Hurtsla. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
fair. That's fair. He's a staple. I'll go bottom of B.
Sure. Maybe
Okay.
even over Thomas.
Yeah, no, I'm on that.
Sure.
Over Thomas.
All right.
Yeah, he's had some good moments. Him. Next up is Kieran McKenna. This is an interesting one.
See, I think you need to talk about this one because he was linked to United and you did some big homework on him.
Of course, some excellent style of play, but the caveat is it's with Ipswich, so we have to see how it translates into the Premier League. But when we did see of him in League One and League Two was such a fast turnaround in form for Ipswich, and man, it's football to be desired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with the crop of players, like not being the best, but just performing way above their weight. I have to give him serious props for that. Again, though, like 2 years ago, he was in League One, and I have to, I do have to take some docks off for inexperience. He was also an assistant coach under Ollie, who isn't the best mentor, let's say.
Yeah, it's good that he's getting the most out of his limited squad.
Yeah.
He's bringing the most out of his players.
Yeah.
And for that, I respect it. But again, it's Ipswich.
I would put him top of C over Hurtsla. He's a very strong C.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see how Ipswich
Dude,
do.
Hurtsla could really upset or like shoot up the ranks in the next couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. Same with McKenna, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ipswich just got their first points too,
Yeah.
which we never talked about last week. But shout out Ipswich and shout out Kieran McKenna.
Shout out Ipswich, finishing 20th this season.
Next up is Steve Cooper of Leicester, formerly of Forest.
Is this the first F of the tier list?
I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think you fail to save a Nottingham Forest team who had enough players, enough quality, so you therefore had to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And then your replacement saves them. And now you're brought in Leicester City.
Like such an uninspiring hire.
It's not.
You know?
Is it exciting for Leicester fans?
Absolutely not.
I don't think it's exciting at all.
Absolutely not. Like maybe you could say like, oh, it was the best available, but no, it's not.
I mean,
No,
he
it's not.
had his little stint with Nottingham Forest,
Like where he was
where
decent,
he was decent,
but
getting
I think
results
that
here
was
and there
like
against like the relegation side.
Premier League bounce. Like that was
Yeah.
Steve Cooper, you're an F to me.
You're
son.
gonna have to show a little more.
Yeah, you're not even like a Premier League staple where you're like clearly got something. So yeah, maybe in a few years if you get another job after Leicester, but if you do how I think you're gonna do, we won't be seeing that. Next up, after Steve Cooper, is Arne Slot.
Dude. Like wow, so far.
Give me a letter.
A letter?
Give me a letter.
I'd say A.
You put him in A.
In a couple years, and maybe even by the end of
You
next
put
year.
him in nah, dude. You put him in A already.
I put him in
It's
A already.
too
Dude,
early
he
to put
won
him
the
in
league
A.
with PSV? Feyenoord?
Feyenoord.
He won the league with Feyenoord.
Okay.
With Feyenoord.
Feyenoord are a good team.
They are a
dude.
good team, but they are not. They are top 3 in the Netherlands, but they are not the team in Netherlands.
Yeah, they're not.
And then you
like
go
Ajax
ahead.
were terrible. PSV kind of fell off at the end of the season. So like, yeah, I suppose you're right.
PSV didn't really fall off though.
They were a good team.
They were a good team, a competitive team.
Did they win the league? Let me
think
just
it was
make
PSV that won the
make
league.
sure they won the league.
I think it was PSV that won the league.
Hold on. Let me see. He won the league with them, but the year before last.
Okay, but that's still solid.
It's still
solid.
good.
And then you start this season with 3 flawless games. Conceded 0 goals, scored 7. Your players are firing off all cylinders. Your midfield is solid as ever.
Yeah.
Your defense is not letting anyone through.
However, caveats like one, it's Feyenoord, it's
And
Dutch
good
league.
business.
It doesn't mean that you're
and
a great
good
manager.
business.
Good business. They made 2
Federico
signings.
Chiesa for 13 million. That's not good business.
Juve want to sell him, dude. That's not on Arne Slot. He has to use him for it to be good business. We haven't seen that at all.
Look,
we have not seen a signing make an appearance for Arne Slot. Look, if the Dutch league was like a good parameter of you being a good manager or not, then I would agree with you. But we've seen some Dutch managers come and go who were really good at the Eredivisie, but couldn't really translate it.
Fair enough.
Right? Second of all, he's had an amazing 3 games at Liverpool. Like, they've looked spectacular. Like I said in last week's episode, how much of that is Arne Slot? How much of that is like a rejuvenated Liverpool?
It is his team.
With Jurgen Klopp's players and a similar system.
Last season, Gravenberch wasn't playing.
He was playing at some points.
The bench. No, he was not. We are seeing a transformation of Gravenberch in the midfield.
I thought Gravenberch should have played. Like, maybe that's Klopp's mistake, but like,
This is not Klopp's team. This is Arne Slot's team.
Well,
Last
Klopp
season, Darwin Nunez was playing, and he was shitting the bed. Arne Slot comes in, puts Diogo Jota in. He already has a goal and an assist.
Okay.
Mohamed Salah is looking better than last year this season, does he not?
He's looking...
Meaning that Arne Slot is getting more out of him than Klopp got last year.
But it's been 3 games.
It has been 3 games, but he still has been playing better.
Look, by game 10...
Luis Diaz. Diaz. How good has he been?
This is the
3 goals.
This is the thing, dude. This is the thing. Like, take it from me. Let's not get too excited. Let's not get too excited, okay? After Ten Hag's first season, where would you have put him on this list? Pretty fucking high, let's be honest. Really fucking high.
A, B.
Yeah, probably would have been A. Let's be real.
Maybe.
But then, the longer the manager's there, the longer they're actually able to implement themselves, the more that club becomes their club.
But it's also...
This is not Arne Slot's club, dude. He has not had one signing make an appearance for him, okay? Like, he's played 3 games and a preseason. He's not had one dispute. He's in the honeymoon phase of the squad. What happens in November when there's a few injuries? You have to play a few youngsters, or maybe Trent is like... does something bad and the manager has to talk to him, or he gets some serious challenges, or like what happened, like Ronaldo wanting to leave, the Sancho situation, like all those stuff, like those are challenges that Ten Hag has faced in his first months as a United manager. Let's see what happens when Slot faces those challenges. You know what I mean?
I think he can deal with them very well.
Like, Unai Emery's faced challenges, Arteta's faced challenges, Pep's faced challenges. Like, obviously, all these managers here over their career have faced challenges, but how can Arne Slot deal with it at the top of English football? We have not seen that yet, and therefore, how could I put him in A?
I also see a difference in Ten Hag to Arne Slot, because Arne Slot clearly communicates what he thinks in press conferences that Ten Hag doesn't really communicate.
That's a language thing.
That is a language thing, but Ten Hag's been in England longer than Arne Slot has, and Arne Slot speaks better English than Ten Hag and doesn't grunt after every sentence.
Like, I agree.
He looks more committed than Ten Hag, meaning that he's more up for the challenge, meaning that he would probably deal with those situations better.
Okay, committed? Like, what are you saying?
How is Ten Hag not... I know it's just a language. How the fuck is Ten Hag not fluent in
Counterpoint. We have good evening in A tier.
But good evening.
Like Unai Emery, when he came to England, was not a linguistic master, okay?
That's it. Look, good evening spent most of his career outside of England.
Yeah, so is Arne Slot, so is Ten Hag.
But Arne Slot speaking better English than... Look, to me, it just
give
shows...
him a fucking medal for that, dude. But we're not talking about...
It just shows commitment. It's not about actually speaking the language. It just shows commitment. It shows commitment.
Dude, maybe Ten Hag has like a learning disability,
Clearly, it translates to the pitch clearly. Holy fuck. Oh my God.
I can't, bro, how can you put Arne Slot in A after 3 Premier League games?
Who has played better than them this season so far? No one. Even City.
Nobody. You're absolutely right. I'm not denying that they look like the best team in the league right now. But we're talking about right now. Right this second.
Yeah.
We said the same thing for Hurstla just a few minutes ago, where like, you look like you're going to be excellent.
I have one thing to say, Julie. If you think Liverpool is going to fall off out this year without Klopp, I think you're dead wrong. Came out of your mouth. Came out of your own mouth.
I had to make a TikTok.
It came out of your own mouth.
I had to make a hook, dude.
And now you're coming at me and completely countering what you said.
Dude, I wouldn't have said at that time that he was a top 4 manager in England.
No. I'm not saying he's a top 4 manager in England. I think there's better managers on this list. I still think he's an A-tier manager. And the fact that Liverpool's playing so well, it probably just is because his tactics are similar to Jurgen Klopp's tactics.
Look, dude,
it doesn't mean that it's not his team. It just means that they have similar tactics, similar styles of play. Therefore, the players can cope with that better. They can absorb that better. They can learn easier because they already know how it is to play under a manager that plays a similar style.
Therefore, it's harder to judge how he is as a manager because the players find it easy to adapt to him. What happens in a year's time where we get a few signings in, where the team is settled in, where they're not in this freaking honeymoon stage? What happens then? What if we were making this list 1 year ago today when Ange was top of the league with Tottenham after 10 games and everybody was raving about him?
Ange is a good manager.
He's a good manager.
He's a good manager.
But were we not overestimating him just a little bit because he started his tenure really well with Tottenham?
He started it very well, but he also has proven that he is a good man-to-man manager. He knows how to deal with his players throughout the entire season. So putting him at A wouldn't be out of this world. Where would you put Ange right now?
I put him top of B.
Top of B, bottom of A. It's like the same thing. I'm not putting Arne Slot top of A. I'm putting Arne Slot low A, but he's still an A tier manager in my opinion. You're winning the league with a team who is not predicted to win the league.
Okay, fine. Let's put him in A.
Let's put him in A.
All right, and you wait and see who else I want to put in A after. Okay.
We're not putting Ten Hag in A. Absolutely the fuck not. We are.
Next up is Erik Ten Hag, and in my opinion, if we're putting Arne Slot in A,
what?
I think there are 3 more managers that we have to say that go in A.
Okay. And Ten Hag's not one of them.
And Ten Hag is one of them.
How?
He's faced some challenges.
A complete lack of composure at the wheel of a team.
Listen, a couple minutes ago, if you asked me this question, I would have said Ten Hag is B. But if we're putting Slot in A, we gotta put Ten Hag right next to him.
It's not. You even said this yourself. It's not even like it's not his team anymore. It's exactly his team. It's his signing.
It's exactly his team. I agree.
It's his team.
Exactly his team.
He's faced challenges. He's kicked Ronaldo out of his team. We thought that it was showing authority. He was showing authority. He had a plan.
He was, absolutely. He did great there.
He might have had a plan, but today when I look at the results and when I look at
You're looking at 2 games, bro.
And but even last season at the end of the season.
Oh, last season was a wash.
But how was it a wash?
Because we had 60 players injured.
But it's still, dude. You have.
I look at the challenges.
As you said, dude, you have to cope with that as a manager.
I look at the challenges that Ten Hag faced last season, and I look at those, and we agreed on this multiple times on the pod, and we looked at the problems that he faced last season, and we went, yeah, like no manager could solve this mess that United is right now. And we had a great summer. And we played really well against Fulham. And you were complimenting us against Fulham. We even played well against Brighton as well.
I was complimenting you against Fulham.
We had a bad game against Liverpool.
You played a good first half against Brighton.
I would actually argue we had a better second half against Brighton.
I think you had a better first half. Anyways.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
We had a good half, a good 45 against Brighton, sure.
One half was off anyway.
and we had a bad game against Liverpool. Again, even if we were playing bad this whole time, it's only 3 games. But plus, we played well in the Community Shield.
Oh my god!
Which is a competitive football match.
Please, Julian.
It was a competitive football match.
Please, Julian. You're looking at the Liverpool style of play, and you look at the Manchester United style of play. You're telling me you would rather have the Manchester United style of play right now?
I'm not saying that now.
But that's basically what a whole manager is there for.
No, but.
And how has he managed egos? Pretty shit, in my opinion.
How?
Well, I mean, Sancho was the biggest problem for a long time. Sure, he kicked Ronaldo out.
He kicked Sancho out.
It caused a lot more problems than...
I don't think so.
You don't think it did?
I don't think it did.
It didn't impact you guys last season at all?
I think the way that we then used Sancho in the transfer market, putting him on loan and then letting him come back this year, that was a much bigger problem.
But it didn't impact your season whatsoever last season. It wasn't the sole...
It wasn't the sole everything impacts our season.
Of the media.
How would you have better... how have you dealt with that better?
Bit him off right away.
That's what he did.
No, it's not.
That's just it.
No, it's not. He put him in a loft for fucking 5 weeks.
Okay, that was 2 years ago.
What?
2 years ago is when he put him in the loft for 5 weeks.
No, I'm talking about the disagreement that he had.
The disagreement, the statement that he put out after the Arsenal game, which was a fucking disgrace. Every fan wanted him gone. He banished him from the team. Okay. Sancho wasn't still training with the team. Like he was fully off.
What about the football?
The football was terrible last year for most of the time. It was actually good towards the end of last season when, coincidentally, we had players coming back. But this year, like the Liverpool game, shit. The Brighton and the Fulham game,
half shit Brighton.
So that means
Fulham game up to expectation, not exceeding expectations.
Okay.
And from a manager that's been there for 3 seasons now, it's his 3rd season. I'm expecting him to better his previous results.
I still think that considering the challenge that Ten Hag has faced, you have to take that into consideration. Like he was tipped to be the next in line at City after Pep leaves before he joined United. We forget how highly rated of a manager he was.
He was.
And let's not forget about what he did at Ajax, because I have to mention it. All right. He did spectacular things with them.
Semi-finals of the Champions
League. For years
Absolutely.
with
and I'm
Ajax.
not taking away from that. I'm not taking away from that.
Developing youth, spectacular. He's spectacular at Ajax, spectacular at United at developing youth.
Fair enough. And I'm not disregarding that whatsoever. However, when I watch Manchester United games, I want to kill myself. Straight up.
Oh, me too, bro. Me too. But
we can agree to disagree on this one, I feel.
I think
bottom of A.
Sure.
I'm settling on that one.
Sure. Next up is Eddie Howe. Where would you put Eddie Howe?
I like Eddie Howe.
Where would you put him?
Top of B, probably.
Yeah, I agree.
Top of B.
I agree.
I like what he did in this first season with Newcastle. He wasn't supposed to be that manager. He was just supposed to be like a placeholder for whoever was going to come in next under the Saudi takeover.
Yeah.
But he proved himself in that first season. Second season was a little harder, but there was a lot of injuries in that squad.
Agreed.
And now he's won 2 games and drawn 1 so far this season, and it's fully a healthy squad. So nothing really to say apart from that. It's not been spectacular football. At times it has been spectacular football. Like that 4-0 half against Tottenham. That was, I don't know if you remember that, but that was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like the signings he's made too. As my computer dies.
No, I think the only question with Eddie Howe is like, can he be the man to really take Newcastle from point A to point B? Because I feel like they've been on the way from being like a bad team to a good team. But like, can he manage them at like the top of the Premier League, at the top of Europe, and all that stuff? Like, will he be the man once the money comes in and they can start really, really doing that?
Put him over Iraola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you put over Glasner?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he's top of B.
Yeah, he's top of B.
Okay, next up is Nuno Espirito Santo.
You don't have a soft spot for Unai Emery. I have a hard spot for Nuno Espirito Santo, if that makes sense. I don't really like him. I don't like what he has to offer.
Wait, pause.
My bad. That was one way to put it. But I don't like what I just don't like his style of football. I don't like how bland, monotone, lack of personality. I think he did a good job at Wolves.
Yeah.
He started well with Tottenham, where he won Manager of the Month. That one for the first month. It seems like all managers start off well at Tottenham, and then they just decline.
Yeah.
But now at Forest, I think I tipped them to be like 16th.
They have some good pieces.
They have some good pieces. I like their squad.
They've had some good performances.
I'm just not convinced that their manager can make the most out of that.
No, I agree.
I'd put him just D, C, bottom C, top D.
No, I agree.
Yeah, top D, bottom C.
Fair. I'm gonna put him top D.
Yeah.
Next up is, let's start firing through, Russell Martin.
Big Southampton manager. Am I correct?
Yep. At Swansea till 2023, and he managed Southampton up to promotion
through playoffs. So look, again, it's poor from me, but I just haven't seen enough.
I agree.
Southampton games, and that's my fault. I should have done my due diligence.
Yeah.
But D, C,
D, bottom of D. Honestly, he could join.
Sorry,
he could join Steve. I'm gonna put him.
Is he joining Steve? He's joining Steve.
He's joining Steve. Just because we haven't seen enough of you.
from what we saw so far this season, I mean, you can't beat a Newcastle team that are a man down. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Next up is Ange Postecoglou.
I love his character. Does that make like?
No,
I like the guy.
I like the guy.
I like the
too.
guy. I like what he says in press conferences. I like that he's blunt. I like that he's straightforward with the press. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. I really like that. And I can get along with the way his team plays on the field.
Yeah.
Top of B, bottom of A.
I'm gonna put him bottom of A.
Bottom of A.
I'm put him bottom of A.
Okay.
Under 10 Hog?
Under 10 now.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Okay. Yulin Lopetegui?
I think in order for Lopetegui to shine, he has to have a full project behind him, which is why he didn't shine at Wolves. I think the board weren't keen on getting with his ideas in terms of players to sign and just finances of the club.
Yeah.
And now that he's at West Ham, we saw what they did in this transfer window, right? I mean, this is a manager who's won the Europa League.
Yeah.
He knows what it's like to play in the big games. He's managed top players. Top of B, honestly, over Eddie Howe.
Yeah. Oof. That's a big claim.
I would.
I wouldn't put him over Eddie Howe.
I think I would.
But fair enough.
In terms of just resume, he's over Eddie Howe.
I don't like his play style sometimes.
Yeah, but it works. It works.
I suppose.
You're beating a Crystal Palace team who plays better than you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's 3 points in it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, last but not least, last manager here is Gary O'Neill. Thoughts?
I really like this guy.
Yeah?
I really like this guy. I thought he was done so dirty with that sacking at Bournemouth after an incredible season, keeping them up. Who everyone had them down, by the way.
Yeah.
Everyone had the cherries going down.
Yeah.
Kept them up, built a strong core around them to where someone else could do a good job with them. And then moved to Wolves, where this year, sure, it might not look the best in terms of quality on the pitch and squad and depth of that squad. But I believe that he can salvage some points and stay up this season. I think he has the quality. I think his team is behind him. I think his players are in accordance with his style of play. So I put him on at a good B, a good bottom of B.
Bottom of B.
Yeah.
So, okay. So here's our full list.
Hit me.
Is Pep Guardiola in S
Yeah.
tier, of course. An A tier of Unai Emery,
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta,
Yeah.
Arne Slot,
Yeah. Yes.
Eric Ten Hag, and Ange Postecoglou.
Sure, fair.
B tier is Yulin Lopetegui,
I like that.
Eddie Howe,
Yep.
Oliver Glasner, Areola,
Yep.
Marco Silva.
Yep. Areola.
That always trips me up on that one. Oh my God. Thomas Frank
Yep.
and Gary O'Neill.
Put Gary O'Neill.
I think we have too many in B. We
do
only
a
have
lot
2
of
in
B.
C.
We have 2 in C.
We have 2 in C. C is Kier McKenna and Fabian
again,
Ursula.
These managers are good. Like,
Of course, but this is Premier League standard.
Premier League standard. You want to drop a few? I think Gary O'Neill should. Actually, no, he shouldn't.
I think Iraola down should be C.
Whoa.
4 of them.
Oh, Iraola down. You think Iraola should be C?
Iraola, Silva, Frank, and Gary O'Neill. I think we need a higher standard.
I'll give you Frank and Gary O'Neill. I think Silva and Iraola should stay in B.
Okay.
I like that.
And then so C is now Thomas Frank, Gary O'Neill, Kier McKenna, and Fabian Ursula.
Sure.
D is Nuno Espirito Santo, Enzo Maresca, and Sean Deitch. Okay, maybe Maresca can go higher.
Maybe.
I was a bit mean.
No, keep him down there.
Okay.
Keep that motherfucker
And
down there.
F is Russell Martin and Steve Cooper.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that Hertzler and McKenna pick is going to haunt us in the future. I think it definitely can.
No, it doesn't haunt them.
Right now,
it's fine.
Right now, fair, but dude.
But they're going to climb, and we expect them to
They
climb.
have crazy potential.
No, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's wrap up this episode.
Let's do it.
We've been going for almost 2 hours
Wow,
now.
that's crazy.
It is... What time is it? Oh, it's almost 10.
Ooh, might not get home tonight.
Fucking